Hey everyone, it's Melissa. Wanted to share my latest project. I just finished it day before yesterday, I think. And I spent the weekend scrapbooking, which was a lot of fun. Hey Molly. And this is one of those things that I dreamed about. I love banners and pennants. I've done a bunch of them. So I decided to make a mini out of a pennant shape. And these house pictures of some of my daughter's bridal pictures. And I was trying to achieve a very, very old, yellowed, distressed, banged up, fingerprints and all, little book that looks like it may have been around for a really long time. So I did a lot of resist embossing, and I used stamps, and I sewed with a sewing machine for the first time in this book. And okay, I'm now addicted to sewing, and I know everybody's been doing it forever, but I just now pulled mine out and tried it, and I indeed do love it. So I used manila envelopes and cardstock, mostly the cardstock, but I used the envelopes, folders for the covers because I ran out of cardstock. The binding is elastic string, and just wove it through all the holes until I got it like I liked it. And seam binding, and I have a couple of Marion Smith's Prima Charms and a couple of Tim Holtz pearls to cha-cha it up. And then this is a piece of DCWV paper, a scrap that I had laying around. I just did a little pennant on here with stamped love, and then this is one of the dollar spot birdhouses from Michaels. And the stamps, this one, and there's a couple more in the book that I used. I ordered off that Blitsy site, and I got these. And they are Glitz Lace with Grace is the name of them. And I absolutely love them. So I just stamped that one and cut it out, and then I used my blender pen with some of the Tim Holtz inks in Tattered Rose and Victorian Rose. And then on the butterflies, this is the Martha Stewart Punch, and that's actually the first time I used that also, I think. And just used some of the blender pens with, I think there's some peeled paint on those too. So that's the cover and my first attempt at stitching. And I left the backs exposed so we could see the stitching, because I think that adds to the look that I'm looking for, it being old and handmade and laying around forever. I even put fingerprints and handprints and all kind of stuff on the backs of some of these, so it would look like oil over the years had discolored the paper. So anyway, I zigzagged on this picture. I distressed all the edges heavily. This is some of the Carla 001 flatback pearls and a Tim Holtz moth, one of those stamps from that collection, and just some Hobby Lobby trim. And then my favorite stamp, this faded text. I call it a French writing stamp, but so I did the resist embossing. And as you can see on the back of these pages, I used tea dye ink to dip my fingers in to smash on there, and just made dirty spots and stuff with the ink. This is another one of the stamps out of the collection. I zigzagged around a couple of areas and used my blender pens again and cut this one out, tucked it behind and over, and then just made two little pennants and put them on pearl pins. And then in the background is a doily stamp, and I believe it's an Inkadika-Doo stamp, and I used the resist technique on that also. Made some little you know what. Anyway, enough of that. This is part of one of the Tim Holtz flourishes. I just cut part of it off and then just put a tab and stamped Beauty on there with some of those little bitty alphabet. You get them for $1 at Michael's. I have several sets of those. And then EK Success Border Punch. And in the background, a big postage stamp from Stampabilities. You can just see part of it. And then I took another stamp. It's a lace edge stamp from, let me grab it right quick. It's so pretty, and I forget I have it. It's, let's see, from Inka Dinka Doo. It's this one. And I just used this part of it. I taped over the lace. And then I took trim and glued. So I really like the way that came out. It's different. And on this one, just another tab with Dream on it. Some more sewing, and this is the Hobby Lobby trim, and I put some flat back pearls that are kind of an amber color. Almost the same color as the trim, and they just kind of glisten. I love the way that came out. And then the advertisement stamp off of that Glitz collection. And on this one, I used an overlay and used that stamp I showed you, the faded text. And I just sewed this picture on, and I placed it so that you could see them both when it was open, flat. And then the text shows over her dress. I love the way that came out. It just looks so old. And some more fingerprints over here in sewing. And then just a music note stamp for the background of this one. Excuse me. And then on this one, this is some more Carla 001 bling trim. And some burlap also. And this is actually, I cannot remember. I think, oh, I know what it is. It's the Movers and Shapers, one of those labels dies from Tim Holtz, and I just tucked it back behind and stamped Express on there because she was being silly. And then the last page is two more of her being silly, biting the pearls here. And then she actually had gold glitter shoes under her dress. But you can't tell because it's black and white. So anyway, and I just did a large background stamp. Anna Griffin, I think, is the one that made this stamp. So anyway, that's my book. I hope y'all like it. If you have any questions, just ask. Thanks for watching. Bye.